Hello, and welcome to Mikey's Film Corner. I'm your host, Mikey. Yep, we're gonna have to talk about this movie because the crowd has started to die down a little bit, at least in the box office. So we're gonna have to talk about it today. We're gonna be talking about Wicked for Good. Now, um, before I begin this review, I would like to say that I loved Wicked Part One. It might be one of the greatest musicals of all time. Not even joking. It might be top 10. Even in the modern era, in the 21st century, it might be one of the greatest musicals of all time. I don't just mean the Broadway version, I also mean that movie. That movie, when it came out last Thanksgiving, was a phenomenal masterpiece. Barely any flaws. It was incredible. An all around masterpiece. However, however, this year, we had a part two, a continuation that was somehow worse, somehow darker, somehow more interesting, and somehow has better acting but worse writing. I don't know how that's possible. I'm impressed. So let's start off with the good. The good of this movie. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are doing an incredibly great job trying to boost up their Oscar hype, boost up any hype that they can even gather for this movie, because part two, aka Wicked for Good, essentially is what the Wizard of Oz eventually becomes from what we remember when we were all kids, or maybe when we were adults, even rewatching it now. One thing I will say that I loved about this movie was that it sort of intertwined in a way I didn't expect it to. Now, reminder, it's been a long time since I even heard the Broadway version or anything from that adaptation of Wicked, so I apologize in advance if I don't remember much about it. I will say the music is still good. That makes it good. Like the Broadway version, part two was never really the best part of the musical. Part one is usually the best one because you get an introduction to Glinda and Elphaba, aka the Wicked Witch of the West. You get like a good introduction. And the story building is pretty solid. And the set design, the costumes, the makeup, they're all phenomenal. Absolutely perfect. I think that the sequel still did a good job on all the technical stuff. I think the acting's still really good, especially from Prince Fiero, Jonathan Bailey. He does a phenomenal job. I'm not going to slander him. Especially for this review, I'm not going to slander any of the acting, with the exception of one person. But we'll get to that in a second. Anyway, Cynthia and Ariana did a phenomenal job. I'm not going to slander any of their acting, with the exception of maybe both the new songs they got, because their acting is worthy of getting awards this year, especially going into the new year of 2026. When the Oscars come around, I hope to God both of them are nominated in their categories again, because this needs to be the movie where Cynthia becomes the EGOT that she deserves to be, and Ariana Grande finally wins an Oscar. She deserves it. She's deserved it from doing part one and now part two of Wicked. So she's done a phenomenal job as Glinda. I'm not going to slander her at all. Neither am I going to do it for Cynthia Erivo, because Cynthia Erivo is an incredibly talented singer, an incredibly talented actress. No slander whatsoever. Jonathan Bailey does a phenomenal job as Prince Fiero. I think his acting is much more improved from the first part, but that's just me. There may be a little bit of plot holes with his story, but I don't care. I enjoyed his acting. Fight with a brick wall. Cowardly Lion, voiced by Coleman Domingo. He does his part. Good voice acting. Not going to slander that. Bach turning into the Tin Man. Ethan Slater does a great job. I'm not going to slander him. Though it is kind of gruesome the way they made Bach into the Tin Man, but, we move. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum does a great job as the Wizard of Oz, the great and powerful Wizard of Oz. He does a great job, and it's Jeff Goldblum. How am I going to slander Jeff Goldblum? Now let's talk about the bad. While the music is still good, just like part one, and just like the Broadway musical before it, Wicked for Good has two new songs, and they're both kind of boring. No Place Like Home, and The Girl in the Bubble. They're both boring. They're very, very, very boring. Stephen Schwartz, I'm disappointed. Absolutely disappointed. Your score from part one was great. Part two, which is this movie, isn't as good. Why is that? Because you wrote two boring songs. I'm impressed. But that doesn't mean they're bad. They're just not. They're not great. Excuse me. They're kind of underwhelming. Now, the other bad thing that I didn't enjoy about this movie was the plot holes. While it is connected to The Wizard of Oz, they kind of changed the story a little bit. One thing I wasn't a fan of, thinking about it now, instead of when I was watching it in theaters at the time, was There was a trap door when Elphaba went down, she melted. She went through this like trap door, so she kind of faked her death, and she never really melted. So the bucket of water was just a ruse. And she really just fell for a trap door. How did she fall for the trap door? Did it go downward or did it go upward? I'm trying to figure that out. I still don't really know. Let me know in the comments below because I don't know how she went through. I don't know. There were a bunch of other plot holes as well, like why did Madame Warble find a random house and crush Nessa Rose when Nessa Rose wasn't really the Wicked Witch of the East? Like, you could kind of tell she was the Wicked Witch of the East if you watch The Wizard of Oz. Like, the story of the silver shoes, ruby slippers, whatever. But you basically just killed an innocent lady. Like, Madame Warble kind of sucks. She's kind of a murderer. Yeah. Also, the animal cruelty is a little insane. I don't mean by actual cruelty. I mean, like, the way the animal abuse is held in this movie. Not crazy about it. I don't like that. Especially with, like, they had a thing with, like, the Munchkins couldn't really go on a train. That's a whole theme in itself. I thought it was handled okay. I just think they could have explored it a lot more. They had a lot of themes you could have worked with, and they didn't explore that enough. And some people said this is the most political movie of the year, which is insane because we have one battle after another, which is an incredible movie. Cannot argue with that. Like, the political themes weren't explored enough, and you had a lot to work with at the 2 hours and 20 minutes, or 2 hours and 18 minutes. You had like 22 less minutes than part one, and you didn't explore everything else. You just kind of left it blank. Like, you just kind of forgot to fill in the spaces. So you had a lot to work with, and a lot of plot holes, and you just didn't work with the plot holes. I'm surprised. And then there's Madame Warble herself, Michelle Yeoh. In part one, her singing was funny. Like, she was not trying to intentionally sing, and I'm aware that, like, she was a great actress in movies from China. Like, she was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which is an incredible masterpiece. Probably her best acting ever. When she did Everything Everywhere All at Once, great movie. Love that movie. Not a fan of Jamie Lee Curtis winning that Oscar, but we move. Stephanie Hsu deserved it. Fight with a brick wall. But one thing I'm not a fan of is Madame Warble. She cannot sing. She has a song in this movie that is so bad that the original from the musical on Broadway is better than the one in the movie. I forgot the name of the song she does, but it sucks. It sucks. Her version of it sucks. Other than that, the technical stuff, still great to look at. A little bit underwhelming in the costume department, but you have to work with what you got. There's a scene between Elphaba and Fiyero. They have a little love triangle thing going on with him, Glinda, and Elphaba, which was like in the musical. But it kind of was rushed a little bit rushed. You didn't explore that enough, and then we kind of just have an ending where it's like a little underwhelming. But regardless, it's not a bad movie. I mean, some people will say it's bad. Some people are like, it's okay. I'm one of those people. It's okay. I think that they had a lot to work with. And they didn't explore a lot of big themes like the animal cruelty from, Oz. Like, he literally was going to, like, hurt the animals. He didn't explore that enough. You didn't explore Bach's story enough. You just kind of rushed into him, turned it into the Tin Man. Cowboy Lion wasn't really utilized enough, which is kind of an underwhelming disappointment. And Fiero's reveal as the Scarecrow was kind of also a little underwhelming. The makeup was cool, but the reveal was kind of a bit of a bummer. You know what I mean? If you made it back to 2 hours and 40 minutes like the part one, I wouldn't have complained too much. An extra 20 minutes wouldn't have hurt. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give this review like a 7 out of 10. I think the movie's still good, but it's not as good as part one. I think the dark theme is actually a good idea, making it a little bit more grim, but you didn't explore it enough. And Michelle Yeoh does kind of hurt the rating a little bit for me. I would have given it an 8, but Michelle Yeoh ruined it slightly. So yeah, 7 out of 10 is what we're going with today. And yeah, a little bit of a disappointing movie this year because I thought this would have been better. I thought this was going to be better than part one. I was really disappointed, but I still enjoyed it regardless, but it's not going to be one of my favorite movies of the year. Oh well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to smash the like button and smash that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.